Hi everyone and welcome to the discussion on the sample paper of NPAT. So NPAT verbal ability में I think paper release हो चुका है sample paper and the sample paper consists of 20 questions students. So there are questions of prepositions, there are questions of passages, there are questions of sentence rearrangement, vocabulary, word usage. So all in all I would want कि when we are discussing these things आप एक बार अपने पास टॉपिक्स की लिस्ट जरूर बनाइए, right? So let's begin, students, and let's see what the first question was about. So again, as I said, the first four questions were based on preposition. So preposition का अगर आपको basic knowledge है, of course, it comes under the category of grammar. So ये questions आपके लिए easy होंगे. Please pay the electricity bill dash time to avoid having your electricity supply cut off. Now, on time would be correct. On time means on the scheduled time. On the scheduled time. So the first four questions on prepositions, on time एक phrase होता है. So there are phrases like in time, there are phrases like on time. In और on दोनों होते, then it would have been confusing to decide कि sure क्या मैं in time use करूं, क्या मैं on time use करूं. But because we do not have that preposition, it makes it easier for us. So it should be on time, students. Moving to the second question, birds were very frightened when paper balls were thrown at them. Now, where do we use this preposition at? Where do we use preposition at, students? So, at is used for specific or exact. Exact time, exact location, exact position, exact person, कुछ भी हो सकता है. बिल्कुल specific. Like if I say the class starts at 9 a.m. So at 9 a.m., 9 a.m. would be the specific time here. Similarly, at them is for birds. So specified है कि किसके तरफ paper balls throw करे. So C must be the correct answer for the second question, students. Dash Buddhist beliefs and traditions. Gautam Buddha had been born as animals and humans in many previous births. Now, when we are studying prepositions, students, so preposition में एक चीज होती है, that is phrase prepositions. There's a thing called phrase prepositions. तो यहाँ पे क्या है? According to Buddhist beliefs, from is generally used when we are talking about time or distance. Besides means in addition to, it tells us, it gives us additional information about things. According to would be correct, and besides or in addition to are similar. So correct answer here for question 3 again would be option C, students. Moving to the next question in preposition in this sample paper of NPAT exam. Certain habits stay with you dash life. Now we want to say कि यार कुछ habits ऐसी हैं जो पूरे life में होती हैं throughout the course of life. So throughout would be again the correct preposition here. Throughout means duration of time. Throughout here expresses the complete duration of life. हम कह रहे हैं कि पूरे life, throughout life वो चीजें रहती हैं, ठीक है? Within, across, beyond, these are incorrect prepositions. So D must be the correct answer for the fourth question, students. Let's move to the fifth one. And the next four questions are from this passage which is based on the life of Toru Dutt, and why was she important and what were her works about. उसके works में कौन-कौन से major themes explore हुए. Let's discuss that. So Toru Dutt is considered the earliest Indian female writer in English. She traveled extensively in Europe from a young age with her family. She and her sister Aru became fascinated with Paris and specifically French literature. In London, they came in contact with such august personages such as, again, every time when we are discussing passages, I always say कि यार names उतने important नहीं हैं. You can quickly just skim through that part. Because even if we have a question for those names, हमें पता है कि passage के किस part में उसका answer मुझे मिलने वाला है. So when we are reading the passage, there's no point reading the names. अभी of course discussion कर रहे हैं तो मैं नाम read एक बार कर दूंगा. The names being Uh, Sir Barclay Fred, who was the governor of Bombay from this tenure, and Sir Edward Ryan, the Chief Justice of Supreme Court from this time. Todat was greatly influenced in her writing by French romantic poets like Victor Hugo, English writers like Elizabeth Browning, John Keats, Charlotte Bronte, and Jane Austen. Again, जब आप पैसेज रीड कर रहे हो आई डोंट थिंक कि आपको नेम्स रीड करने में अपना टाइम वेस्ट करना चाहिए. She was also intrigued by the legends and myths of India and even learned Sanskrit. Her writings were marked by romantic melancholia and an obsession and preoccupation with death. Melancholy. Now, the word melancholy means something which is sad. So, आगे जो मैं passage में पढ़ने वाला हूँ, I here have an idea कि her works would mostly be about loneliness, maybe about separation, death, ऐसा कुछ ही होने वाला है. ठीक है. The preoccupation with death. Why? Because this was partly due to her suffering and pain following the early tragic deaths of her siblings rather, and especially her sister Aru. Her chosen subjects often portrayed separation, as I said. Separation, क्यों? Because of the separation that she had with her sister Aru. Loneliness, captivity, dejection, declining seasons, and ultimately death. She led an ivory tower existence and her own death came quite early at the age of 21. She died at an early age of 21. उसके बाद क्या होता है? In the full bloom of her talent and on the eve of awakening of her genius. Toru Dutt's most famous work is A Sheaf Gleaned in French Field, an anthology of poems translated from French to English. It also contained a few original poems that showcase her vast insight into French literature. She used to publish poems in the Bengal magazine under the pseudonym of TD. So again, works, French, English, Sanskrit, सारे languages आप देख रहे हो. But most of her powerful work was published posthumously. Posthumously is, we use the phrase posthumously for people who have died. उसके मरने के बाद उसके works ज़्यादा publish हुए already जो लिखे हुए works थे, including the French novel Le General and Mademoiselle, and the unfinished English novel Bianca or the Young Spanish Maiden. Her work, Ancient Ballads and Legend of Hindustan, depicts a shrewd knowledge of Hindu mythology and an intrinsic empathy with the conditions of the life they represent. An assimilation of Occident and Orient nourished Toru's poetic skills. Now, she was an assimilation, she was a combination of Orientalism and Occidental. So Orient and Occident basically represents the East and West of the world. The West का उसके ऊपर क्या influence था, and East of course India का क्या influence था. And in her we find a tripartite influence of French education, lectures at Cambridge, and study of Sanskrit literature. तो 3 languages का influence discuss हुआ. So that was the passage, students. Now it's time we move to the questions. So Toru Dutt is an unsung genius in the world of Indian English literature. I think one of her, what we have read in the passage, there are 2 things that come out, students. First, she was so talented at an early age. मतलब 21 में इतने अच्छे works. And she had good knowledge of 3 different languages. In English, French and Sanskrit, जो last में लिखा था कि tripartite था. So बस अगर पूरे passage से आप बोलो कि sir, why are we reading this passage? Why are we reading about the life of Toru Dutt? Main reason यही है that she was very young when she died, और उतनी young age में भी बहुत सारा work था, and of course she had good knowledge of 3 different languages. So the correct answer here should be, the correct answer for question 5 should be option D, as I said. Toru Dutt wrote works in French, English, and translated from Sanskrit, all in her short life of 21 years. In just 21 years, this is what she did. According to the passage, which of the following is not true? Not true. Okay. So Toru Dutt was romantic at heart, influenced by writers like Hugo Bronte, Keats. Yes, she was. Her works on Hindu mythology show instinctive sympathy with the people. लिखा हुआ है. Tragic death of her siblings is partly responsible for the strain of melancholia we found in her writings. Was influenced by literature of Occident and Orient. Yes. Toru Dutt was fascinated by European traditions and literature and considered them above indigenous literatures of India. There's nothing in the passage that suggests that she considered something superior or inferior to the other. She सिर्फ passage में ये लिखा है that she had good knowledge of these three different languages. So this is something that is incorrect according to the passage. That can be considered a cosmopolitan of the 19th century. Now, when you see the word cosmopolitan word हम उसके लिए use करते, we say belonging to all parts of the world. So again, her quality of having good knowledge of French language, English language, Sanskrit language, that is the reason we can say she was a cosmopolitan. ये कहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है? I see that in option D, student. Torudat was influenced by a French Revolution lectures at Cambridge, England, and the study of Sanskrit literature, and was well versed in all these three languages. तो अगर आपको word cosmopolitan पता है, I think only then can you answer this question. Moving on to the next one, students. Which of the following is implied in the passage? Which of the following is implied in the passage? I think it should be E. ये लिखा हुआ है कि Torudat felt isolated from contemporary Indian women, especially after the death of her sister, because of her keen interest in European culture. She had keen interest in European culture. तो बस उसकी उसकी सिस्टर की डेथ के बाद इंडियन women और इंडियन कल्चर से तोरुदत्त का ज्यादा लेना देना नहीं था. So that was the passage, students, and that brings us to the questions now of सेंटेंस रीअरेंजमेंट. सेंटेंस रीअरेंजमेंट में एक तरीका हमेशा आपको फॉलो करना है. यू शुड ऑलवेज ट्राई एंड लुक फॉर द वन दैट कैन बी एन ओपनिंग सेंटेंस. ठीक है, अब ओपनिंग सेंटेंस कैसे क्या क्या नहीं हो सकते. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है इट इज अ प्रोनाउन. सो वेरी रेयर डज दैट हैपन कि प्रोनाउंस नाउन से पहले यूज होते हैं. तो इट कैन नॉट स्टार्ट विथ ए. व्हेन आई से इट कैन नॉट स्टार्ट विथ ए, आई कैन एलिमिनेट दीज टू ऑप्शंस. She was grateful. She कौन है मुझे नहीं पता. Again, pronoun से start नहीं हो सकता. I can eliminate. अच्छा, no option starts with B. बात ही खत्म होगी. Neither Aisha nor her parents. यहाँ पे लिखा not long after this. This किसके लिए मुझे नहीं पता. So it cannot start with D as well. So it should be C, A, D, B, students. Neither Aisha nor her parents expected that her life would take such an unfortunate turn. It all began during high school when Aisha moved to hostel. And not long after moving to the hostel, Aisha was diagnosed with blood cancer and she had to leave the school and focus on her treatment. She was grateful that she had the support of family. So CADB would be the correct sequence here. Let's move to the next question. Again, students, just go and look for the opening sentence. I think opening sentence यही है. About Machu Picchu is a citadel situated on a 7970 feet mountain ridge in southern Peru. Now, अब इसकी थोड़ी सी हिस्ट्री बतानी पड़ेगी. हिस्ट्री कहाँ लिखी हुई है? A में लिखी हुई. So you can eliminate the other options. It should be C, A, D, and B. According to archaeologists, Machu Picchu was a state built for Pachacuti, the emperor of Inca kingdom. It was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. और ये तो फिर टाइमलाइन होगी, ये क्रोनोलॉजी हो गया कि अगर कहीं पे दो इवेंट्स लिखे हैं तो पहले जो इवेंट पहले हुआ है वो आएगा और फिर 2007 का डिस्कशन होगा. सो CADB would be the correct sequence here. Now, if we talk about this question, the opening sentence, I believe, would be E. And by saying that, you can eliminate these options. Now we have to identify, should it be EA or should it be EC? अब वो कैसे identify करेंगे? That depends on what is written in sentence E. So sentence E को read करते हैं. With every passing year, massive advancement in technology take place, affecting our lives in many ways. So we must now talk about these technological advancement. So यहाँ से start हो रहा है. In the ठीक है, C क्यों नहीं होगा? देखो यहाँ पे लिखा है कंप्यूटर, वीडियो गेम्स, टेलीविजन टेक्नोलॉजीज हैव आल्सो गॉन थ्रू मेजर चेंजेस. सो फर्स्ट वी नीड टू टॉक अबाउट कि और किसमें मेजर चेंजेस हुए. सो फर्स्ट वील टॉक अबाउट सेल फोन्स में क्या क्या चेंजेस हुए, फिर television, computer, and other things would come into play. So it should be EACDB, which is given in option C, must be the correct answer here. Moving to the next question, students. Question number 12. It is about rock salt. So either it could start with A or it could start with C. पहला discussion तो यही होगा because rock salt ही हमारा topic है. So ये options eliminate हो गए. So rock salt found in, अब C में लिखा है rock salt found in Himalayan regions given the name of Himalayan crystal salt. I think ये additional होगा, so this would again be incorrect. Rock salt helps in absorption of minerals in body, aids digestion, soothes heartburn, stabilizes blood pressure, and cures rheumatic pain. It is good for hair and skin as well. So first, जो option A में discussion हुआ है about the different benefits of rock salt, उसके अलावा additional benefits D में लिखे हुए हैं. So that makes me believe that A, D, B, E, C would be the correct sequence here. A, D, B, E, C would be the correct sequence. So these were your 4 questions on sentence rearrangement. Next up, we have questions which are related to vocabulary-based cloze test. This is a vocabulary-based cloze test. Cloze test में क्या होता है? कुछ blanks आपको given होते हैं. So in this vocabulary-based cloze test, in the light of recent happening, the nation is again dash in the debate on capital punishment. So it is again embroiled in a debate. Embroiled, you could say stuck, or you could say entangled in a problem again. So embroiled in the debate of capital punishment. Capital punishment होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए. इस debate में nation फंस गया. ठीक है, second पर आने से पहले पूरा read करते हैं. Considerable opposition to capital punishment has come from legal scholarship quarters. It views the use of capital punishment as dash, as it uses hate to fight hate. So there are people who say capital punishment देना is like hypocrisy, कि hate के बदले आप भी hate कर रहे हो. So that would be correct, I think. Hypocritical. Redolent is suggestive in manner. Pretentious is pretending to be something. So again, ये words नहीं हो सकते. Moving back to the third one. So people who support capital punishment, it argues, have failed to make a dash between justice and revenge. Justice or revenge के बीच में, I think, between two things, so difference, distinction, ऐसा कुछ word होना चाहिए. Yes, we have distinction. People have failed to make a distinction between justice and revenge. क्या देना चाह रहे हैं हम? Capital punishment को हम justice की तरह देख रहे हैं या revenge की तरह देख रहे हैं? लोगों को ये नहीं, अभी distinction लोग नहीं कर पा रहे. Thereby normalizing crime. It says research studies have clearly shown that capital punishment does not act as a dash to violent crime. Now those who were suggesting कि capital punishment होना चाहिए, इसलिए कि कैपिटल पनिशमेंट देने से शायद वायलेंट क्राइम्स कम हो जाएंगे, तो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है स्टडीज हैव शोन दैट कैपिटल पनिशमेंट डज नॉट एक्ट एज अ डैश, डज नॉट एक्ट एज एन ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन टू वायलेंट. ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन और हिंड्रेंस ऐसा कुछ वर्ड यहाँ पे होना चाहिए. एंड द वर्ड दैट वी हैव इज डेटरेंट. द डेटरेंट वुड बी द करेक्ट आंसर हियर. ठीक है, सो दीज वर 4 क्वेश्चंस. नाउ वी हैव टू लुक एट दीज the next 4 questions and we have to see कि कौन सा word incorrectly used है. So that is what we'll be focusing on. The incident left her with a fractured leg. With great effort, she has started to walk again. So I think the words efforts here is incorrect. With great resolute, you could say great determination. ऐसे कुछ words होने चाहिए थे. ठीक है. But efforts would not make sense here. So effort would be the one word that is incorrect. In the next question, a discount of 25% were given to customers purchasing clay lamps during the festival of lights. Now in this question, students, a discount likha hua hai. So discount, it's a basic question of subject verb agreement. When we have a singular subject, it is always followed by a singular verb. So a discount of 25% was given to customers purchasing clay lamps during the festival of lights. Moving to the next question, students. The area I live in is one of the many safe places that gives freedom to women to walk around even at night. अनदर क्वेश्चन जिसमें सब्जेक्ट वर्ब अग्रीमेंट, बेसिक नॉलेज, सिंगुलर प्लूरल का नॉलेज अगर आपको है, सो दैट विल हेल्प. मेनी सेफ प्लेसेस, safe places is plural subject, so it should be followed by a plural verb. It should be followed by a plural verb. So gives का usage जो है वो incorrect है, it should be give. And that brings us to the last question, students. There are many harmful effects of consuming junk food regularly. Eating nutritious food is the key to healthy living. Now, in this question, you must know the difference between affect and effect. Affect is a verb, students, and effect is a noun. There are many harmful, many. Then you have harmful. Harmful kya hai? Harmful, again an adjective. So you need a noun here. It should be effects. It should be effects and not affects. So the usage of affects was incorrect. टॉपिक अगर आप लिस्ट डाउन करना चाहते हो, यू कुड से कंफ्यूजिंग वर्ड से भी एक क्वेश्चन एनपैट सैंपल पेपर में था. So dear students, that was all for the discussion of the NPAT sample paper. I see you all in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.